Today I'm going to talk about what one of the best sports in the world. I'm going to inform you, my audience, about what football is, how it emerged in the world, and what is football nowadays. Today I'm going to start with an explanation of what football is. Football is a game played by teams but with a spherical ball. It is played between two teams of 11 players each. This game is played by over 250 players, 250 million players in over 200 countries. The game is also called soccer in United States and in Canada. It is one of the most popular sports in the world. The game first began to develop around 2500 BC by the Greeks, the Romans, and the Chinese. The Chinese developed the most similar game called Suchu, and there were other creators through that time period, like for example, the Native Americans and the Mayans with the game called Tocapoc. The home of football is Britain. This is because football began to develop as what we know football is today through the European medieval period. The game was first played with a pig's bladder, and it was supposed to be taken from one land point to another land point. This game was seen as a nuisance, and the first description of football was made by William Fitzstephen in 1170. The dangers of through the time period of 700 and 1300, the dangers of football began to be more noticeable. This was because there weren't any rules regarding the safety of the players, so a player could be injured for life or could even die in the field. So in 1331, the King of England, King Edward III, banned football in England. In 1572, Queen Elizabeth I passed a law dictating that anyone seen playing football would be sentenced to jail, and in 1605 football was already made again legal. So for almost 300 years the game was banned. The emergence of football as what we know today was because of the creation of the FA. The creation of the FA is the first football association that was made in 1863 by 11 unofficial teams that met in a London tavern and made the first set of rules, the first set of unofficial rules. The first set of official rules was made in Cambridge in the time period of 1869 and were called the Cambridge Rules. Other countries such as Spain, Denmark, Sweden, and Switzerland took these rules in their countries so that they could play the game throughout the following years. The first and oldest tournament is named the FA Cup, the Football Association Cup, and it began in 1871, and it was a tournament played by teams in an elimination rounds where the last two teams would play against each other for the cup. The FIFA was made in 1904, and its real name is the Federation Internationale de Football Association. It was first introduced as international FA board by Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Belgium, the Netherlands, Denmark, and Belgium. And then England joined later in 1905. The first World Cup was performed in 1930 in Uruguay, and it was 13 teams participated. The World Cup was suspended through the years of 1938 till 1950 because of World War II. The first European Cup was held in 1955 through 1956, and the first winner of the European Cup was Real Madrid. The name of the European Cup was later changed to the Champions League in 1992. The first appearance of the biggest clubs was made through the time period of 1890 through 1905. Those being Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester City, Manchester United, Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain, and Liverpool. The most famous leagues in the world are the European leagues, and they are the most competitive because they are the ones with most difficulty. For example, the Spain's league, La Liga, France's league, Ligue 1, England's league, Premier League, and Italy's league, Serie A. The most famous tournaments through the world nowadays are also the Champions League, where clubs, all different clubs from Europe, join and play against each other for the Champions League Cup, and the World Cup, where 32 national teams play against each other for the World Cup, the biggest competition in the world. The best clubs have a better economical resources. That's what makes them the best clubs. This is because the biggest clubs with more economical resources can buy the most valuable players to make a big difference in their team, to make them better, to make better the team. And the best players in the whole world throughout history are Pelé in the 20th century. That he was a Brazilian player that made Brazil international team win a lot of World Cups. And in the 21st century, they are Cristiano Ronaldo, that played for Real Madrid, and Lionel Messi, that played for Barcelona. They are the rival duo, most famous in the world, and the best players. So overall, the history of football and the passion of the people for football unites the world. Even though football had a dark beginning, it is the most watched and one of the best sports in the world, if not the best.